Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to BTS Live. I am Kadene Chambers, and with me today I have lovely Monique Whitfield. We are still talking about loss and grief for this series of BTS Live, which means that the conversation that we'll be having may be a little bit somber, but we're going to try to have this go the same route of episode 1 and the gems, where though we are talking about something that is really, sad, we still couch it, enclose it, encapsulate it in love and lightness as much as possible. I also would like to thank our guests who have joined us for this discussion. This is why this version of BTS Beneath the Surface is called BTS Live. Monique, my producer, today you're in the hot seat, but the warm seat. Thank you so much for agreeing to, invite us into your personal space a little bit for this conversation that I think is so important. You are just one of the many persons who we'll be having the conversation with, because grief, the process of grieving and losing loved ones or a career, which we discussed for last month, how loss and grief is not just about losing a loved one. And it's also important to highlight that we don't grieve and experience loss in the same way, which is why we're having different people share their experience. Monique, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Absolute pleasure. We've been having this conversation for 2 years now?
Yes.
Almost.
Yes. And we started the conversation when you lost your mom. And that's what we're talking about today. And the conversation got deeper after I lost my mom in April. So we're at 6, 7, were we at the 7-month market? And it got deeper because losing my mother, I got a deeper insight and understanding of what it feels like to lose a loved one and to grieve. And so I felt like the conversation really shifted and became deeper and different. It took on a different color for me after I experienced my loss. So give us the backstory so we now understand you lost your mother. Tell us a little bit about your mother and about the process, how she transitioned, how she left us.
How she transitioned. I like the way how you said that, because when I tell people that I literally feel as if she transitioned, people don't understand what I'm saying. And I feel like she transitioned because I was there from the moment she got ill to when she's no longer. And I think that's what is helping me to grieve a little better, because I was there at every step of the way.
Tell us, you said that when she got ill, sorry, what made her ill? What happened?
So she had a rare form of breast cancer, inflammatory breast cancer to be exact. It just came on. Can't be detected via a mammogram. It just comes up. And that came about in December 2018. And of course, when we found out, it was a mess. I can
only imagine.
I couldn't believe that this is really happening to somebody in my family, much less my mother. What? What do you mean? I don't know how I got home that night, because I was at a restaurant when I heard. Nicole, who is on here, was the person I called, and I bawled all the way home, because we're like, what do you mean? How? Like, how me I gonna live? What do you mean? What is this? Where is this coming? I still don't know, honestly. I went to work the next day and it was the same thing. Like, I just let go. And Nicole at the back of the office, I will never forget, I was just bawling.
So you were in a state of disbelief?
I was.
And
Yeah.
I can identify with that because, I didn't have the time period that you did where your mother got sick and you guys were trying to deal with it. My mother got sick and, well, she was sick for a while, but she didn't tell us. And that's what we know now. But by the time I realized that she was sick, she was gone within days. So I didn't get that opportunity to process and be in disbelief for any extended period. Because even when she was in the hospital, I fully expected I was going to take her home. She's 60, she's young, she's sprightly. And so my disbelief came after. It was like, how can she be gone? How is this my experience? I am supposed to be comforting other people when they experience loss. How is this me? So how long was that your experience of just being in that space where you were bawling and you're trying to come to grips with what is happening?
She was ill for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And for the entire period I was there, I would just cry almost every day, every single day at work. And for the people who know me, I don't show emotions like that. And when I just start bawl because I think of what she's going through and oh my God, I can't do this. So I would walk around the house and look at her photos and think of a day when she would be gone. And
so before she transitioned, it's like you started to prepare yourself for when she would no longer be here?
basically, yeah. I thought of it, but then I just shook it out of my head. So I would look at the photo and I was like, no, because she was not in Jamaica actually. So she was already not here. It's like she was away. So coming home to an empty house was like, oh geez, this is what it might feel like.
But you were still able to call her and talk to her, right?
Right. So when I get that feeling, I'd call her and talk to her. So we spent a lot more time on the phone. Like every chance I get, I would call her.
So during her illness and treatment, she would have been experiencing pains and things like that. So that's one of the challenges that you had dealing with it, just knowing that she was experiencing so much pain.
So much pain. And she had problems breathing because if you understand cancer, and the treatment, it might give you pneumonia. Honestly, I don't remember the intricacies of the different types of illnesses that came on, but outside of the cancer, there were different little things that came on along with it. So she would get ill quite often. She was in pain. And then my mother never liked sickness. In Jamaican terms, maybe that's a shistush. But she never liked people being ill. She would care for them, but it would get her so somber and sad that she would see them so much, it's as if she's feeling their pain.
So seeing her like that now.
Knowing that she's now ill, and if she's ill, I'm thinking of where her mental space is. If somebody's ill, my grandmother is ill, somebody's in the community is ill, and she feel it so, imagine when she's sick. That was my hurt. Like, oh my God, I can't imagine what mommy going through being ill, being this way. Because if mommy hears say our auntie sick, Lord Jesus, and she started crying and go on. So for her to be in that spot now hurt me a whole lot. And then it kind of pushed me to find a different kind of strength, a strength that I never knew I had.
Tell us about that strength.
That strength was formulated between me and my siblings.
Okay.
Between me and my siblings, because we knew that Mommy was this weak person throughout anybody's illness. We had to be strong for her.
Oh,
We
okay.
had to just make her laugh at any point. So no matter how much we are ball, you try dry up them tears there, take the shakiness out of your voice and
Wow.
talk to her and make she laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. Our duty was to make her extremely happy at every moment and try to counsel her and say, Mommy, listen, we have to fight this, So no bother with the balling. The balling I go just pull you down more. Stay strong. No bother worry about it. God I go take you out. Me I pray for you. You go, all right. Don't worry about it. This strength, we had to pull on it even more when she called us to plan her funeral.
Okay, stick up in, because we need to talk about that specifically. But before we get there, I want to ask you, because I know that it's not necessarily easy to have the conversation about our loss. And I say that because there are times when I am okay with having versions of the conversation. And then there are times when I am not in this, psychologically, emotionally, I can't handle it. So my question is, why? They tell me why you agreed to participate in the Loss and Grief series.
Why? Honestly, Kadene, and I've never said this to you before, from she was ill, I always thought that I needed to let people know about this illness,
Mm-hmm.
especially in Jamaica, because a lot of people don't know about it. They see it
Okay.
and they don't know what it is. They think it's diabetes. They think it's an infection. They don't know what it is. It's not a regular form of breast cancer where you just find a lump. There's no lump in the breast. They call it the cancer without a lump.
Wow. I've
So
never heard about it before now.
you won't know. And also, I think the way how I lost her it's different from the way how you lost your mom. And it's different from the way how a lot of other people lose their loved ones. And I thought I'd participate in this to help people to understand that it might be different for you, but for me, helping me to deal with losing her is just because I have comfort knowing that I spent all the time that I could with her,
Okay.
with my family. And people need to spend time with their families no matter what. My friends on here, they tell them all the time, no matter where your family I go through, I saw them stay, them not gonna change. People are gonna be people. No matter where you go, nobody's going to be perfect. So deal with them imperfections and love them. Love them as much as you can.
Because we don't know how long we have with them.
Day is going to come. Death is more certain than life. And we know
That
that.
is the only certain thing, yes.
Exactly. And the day is going to, and my reason for participating is just to say, to help you to cope a little more. Spend time. No
Thank you
work,
for that.
no work. Nothing what me have to do can stop me from spending time with nobody in my family. I am going. Work and stay. Because when me gone, or if I should fall short on something, work will let me go.
Yeah.
When my family, and they're replacing me. When my family gone, and me drop down and mash up, work will let me go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need to revel in the love, in just being there, so that when something happens, I can be comfortable. And I do understand that it's unbearable for some families to strive in the same place. but it matters. It matters to fix things because
We have
the
less
days
regrets.
don't come.
We have less
Right,
regrets
right.
when we lose our loved ones. You don't spend that much time grieving. Because an additional component of the grief at that time would be because there were unresolved issues and disagreements. So instead of even just being able to focus on the loss that you're experiencing at that point and just feeling bereft because of that, you would then be feeling with severe guilt in many instances, because you are now left to think, I should have done more to try and fix the relationship. So, I mean, well said. I couldn't ask for a better reason for you to join us, to really remind us that any relationship that we have that's important to us, our family and our friends, that we do everything that we can to stay connected, and that we make time for our family or friends. Anybody who we care about, who we love, we need to make time for them. So Monique, I mean, well said. What a timely reminder, especially as we're moving into the holiday season now.
Exactly.
Let's not get too caught up with work and, not being able to take the time off, because as you rightly say, if we slip up, and sometimes you don't even have to slip up, they are not going to think twice about letting you go and replacing you just like that.
Yep.
So I want to ask you, let me ask you, tell us a little bit about your mother. Tell me about your mother. What's her name? Because I don't know her name yet. I mean, I did a poll of episode 1 and I didn't even tell you. My mother's name is Marcia Morsha Ramsey. Married name Campbell is what I was thinking about. I'm like, I never even tell them my mommy nice name,
Yeah.
So yes. So tell me about your mommy.
My mother is Ruth and Easy. Oh gosh, sweet. Forgive the rooster outside.
I like your rooster. Your rooster is celebrating your mom's name with us.
Right, don't it? or maybe that's mommy saying, that's my name.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh.
See?
Yeah. So Ruth and Easy, she is a gem. She loves people. And I tell you that when I hear you talk about your mother, it just kind of reminds me of my mother. She loves people. She loves help. She loves children even more, no matter who you are. When you have a picnic and she then near to you, she's going to nurture that child. It's like, beat him so. Do that something there with the foot. Hold them upside down. Slide them through and whatever. She's caring. She loves to give, but she's very strict, bad. I used to come home almost every day from school terrified of what mommy is going to beat me for today. But she here before me reach home. But when I grew older, there was just this soft spot that she let me into that wasn't so still strict, but more nurturing, more guiding me on the right path of life.
Okay.
Like she had this intuition. If I say I'm going to talk to a guy, she's like, and I would disobey, and then she did right. Whatever she just said at the beginning is so it go for true. I don't know how she know, but yeah. And she always had the right thing to say at the right time. She loved her family. She loved music. She loved to dance. She loved Christmas. Bad. All in all, Ruth and Easy was an awesome woman.
And she makes you smile every time you think about her still, right?
Yeah.
I'm happy to see that. Yeah, I feel all sorts of ways when I think about my mom. There are things that she would do that makes me laugh. And then there are moments when the loss is just so intense. Like I'm at 6 months in or whatever. Not even sure if it reached 7 now. And there are still moments up to this week, a couple of times, something is happening. And the thought that came in my head was, I need to call mommy. It's still happening. Do you have moments like that?
Just this week,
okay.
on Monday, something happened, and mommy is the first person to this moment. I mean, I talked to you, I talked to Shevoni, Onika, Maxi, everybody on here, so know what going on with me this week. I'm calling you. I don't know, give me the right things what I need for know. But honestly,
you just wanted your mommy.
Mommy, man, my mommy,
You wanted your
bad.
mommy. Listen,
My mother.
listen, I will divulge. Last night I was in my bed, Monique. I bawled, like literally. My daughter is Kalisa is dog sitting over somebody's house, so she wasn't here. And I lay in my bed because yesterday was such an emotional day for no reason that I know of. The entire day, my spirits were just so heavy. And I went into my bed last night. I just lay there bawling. I mean, good bawling, you know. Bawling, just bawling and saying, mommy, 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 mommy. Like, and my grandmother is here, but she was in her room, and I was just praying that, you know, nobody's walking near my room to hear. But I just, like, the loss and the missing is just so overwhelming at times, and it comes up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that because, like, in the nights, before I go to bed, sometimes I'd call her, and we'd be on FaceTime. And so she'd be telling me about her day, or I'd tell her about mine. And she's always going, where are you? She want to know where in the house you are. And if you're ever on the road when you're talking, she's asking, is where you're going. She was very inquisitive, can I tell you? And the truth is, nobody replaces your mother, you know. And for those of us who have lost dads, nobody replaces your father. When you have that kind of close relationship with your parents, nobody replaces them. And as we rightly say, it's about learning how to live with the loss. But before we talk about living with the loss, because I want us to touch that, what would you say were the most difficult moments or aspects of dealing with losing your mom?
The most difficult aspects. The first one is kind of flowing from what we just spoke about right now, where there are instances when you just need her. So the moments in my life that should be the happiest,
yes,
they start out happy and then they end sad. Because I call my sisters, I call my brother, I call my father. There's somebody else to call. Somebody else need to know. And I might move to the phone. I'm like, darn it. And then I just start crying. So no matter what, celebrate my graduation, when I got a job in my life, what my mom said she would have been proud of, everything, every happy moment. And I realized it happened to my sister too, because my sister, she got an opportunity recently and she called everybody on the phone, video call, and we're happy and we laugh. And it happened to me too, because when she hung up, I knew that mommy would have been so overjoyed, and then she would have called me back after the call and be so excited and call me back one again. And then I started crying, and this wasn't my success, it was my sister's success. And then shortly after that, my sister called me and she was saying she's now sad because mommy, she can't call mommy and she need mommy, she need to hear, yeah, we happy and she hear us, but there's just one more voice that's missing.
yeah.
And so my happy moments aren't true happy moments because she's not here to share them with me. The next hard part, Christmas.
Oh.
I can't hear a Christmas carol. I can't. Just the sound of it. And I loved Christmas because of her. My birthday is in September, and after my birthday, I start looking forward to Christmas. There's this song, this Jamaican Christmas carol that say, I know where I'll be for Christmas, and the thought excites me. So I can't sing, but yeah, that's the
You
song.
can sing, man.
That's the song I start singing from September done. Where I'm going to be for Christmas? My mother yard. My mother get up every morning and cook breakfast, fry fritters, stew beef and bread, or stew beef and banana. My mother bake. Like Christmas was it. Just because of mommy. And it was embarrassing at the moment, you know. He used to embarrass me from I was a child. Every November or maybe end of October when we go to the door, I say, Christmas! I'm like, tapping nice. So much nice one. It was embarrassing. No.
Do you do it? Or
No.
Do you? You don't think you'll ever do it? You should.
No. No. I will never do it.
I love her. I do.
I don't even know why she do it. I don't want. What?
Because
I don't know.
she was excited.
But
wow.
I miss that. Right now, I want to hear the Christmas carol and feel it. I want to hear it and be happy. I can't be happy. It's like from hear the tune, I get depressed instantly. I have to zone out. I can't bother with this, man. Either me mute whatever is playing or I walk away or something. But she was so involved in the community at Christmas time. There's always a treat in the main community. And Mummy was one of the persons who would donate the cake. And so my duty, from me can't have sense and go up on road and go to the supermarket by myself, my duty was to go to the supermarket and buy the flour, buy the butter, buy the sugar, buy the wine, buy the cake mix, and bring and give her. And after I bring and give her, it's my duty to go deliver the cake to the treat. It pains me now. Last year, I went into that same supermarket. I wasn't going to bake Christmas cake. I was going to bake bun. And it's kind of the same ingredients. The brownie, the sugar, kind of basically the same thing. So I was taking up everything. And it had killed me again. It had killed me. I walked down and see him. Because from sugar, the supermarket don't change. So imagine the memory I'm having walking down that aisle, knowing that I was supposed to bring it home to mommy. But no, there's no mommy. No, it's me alone at the house. I'm me alone in the home. I'm just sad. I'm just dead there. And I mustered up the strength and I got them. And I went to the cashier. The same cashier then did it from as long as me know. And then I see him position. And the cashier say, yeah, turn your mother. Yeah, go bake.
You're becoming your mother.
Kadene.
You're not the baker.
In a summer, you know, when she tell me, say, yeah, turn your mother, I could have take it and I could have walk out. But you see that day there? It broke me. It's like she just hold me and just take out my heart and fling me on the ground and stop it. What are you doing? Why are you saying that to me? Especially in that moment when this is her. This is her true moment. It's like no other time in my life where she's so alive. It's Christmas time. And you're telling me that, again, another friend on here, after I left, I think I went to her house and her dad came in and him just said, it's all right. Hush. That's all he said it up. He said nothing to me, no. I just sit down there. I was a mess. I was a complete mess. Christmas is a mess for me. And then
But
my
what gets you
brother.
through it? Tell me about your brother, and then you tell me what gets you through those difficult moments. Tell me about your brother.
So on Christmas Day, I don't know. I really haven't had the conversation with him about what's happening in his head about Christmas. But last year Christmas, he didn't stay at the house. But he came by for Christmas dinner. And him come in and him say, where Chris? Chris is my sister. Say, she asleep. Say, so where mommy? That's how much alive she was at Christmas. And it was our first Christmas without her.
What did that do to you when he said that?
I was already a mess. I just looked at him. That's all. I think I got up because that you asked me, how do I get through all of this? Mm-hmm. The moment that I just break down and I'm a mess, what pulls me back, is that strength that we had to form when she was ill. That thing within us that said, no man at a time for your ball, mommy can't see a ball now. So strength right now, laugh, that. So it's like I push it aside. I just take it out of my mind or whatever, forget it. And find something laugh about. And if anybody knows my father laugh at everything, The other day I said, Daddy, you not cry. So, I don't for ball about. My father just laugh and drink. And that is what I do. I just laugh. I just take it out of my head, find something to distract me and just laugh.
Have you grieved? I asked that because you're telling me that your strategy is to put it out of your head, to distract yourself. So have you grieved? I asked that because I realized that for months I had not been grieving. I hadn't started grieving. I had been distracting myself and putting the thoughts and the feelings aside. I realized that makes things, that early part, that phase before you can get into acceptance and start to pick yourself up. You stay longer in that pre-stage when you do that. So have you grieved?
I'm happy you asked. I don't think so. I don't think
that way at all.
I don't think it's almost 2 years, and I don't accept it yet. I can count how many times for the year when I just break down and I just bawl, and I would just bawl for like 1 hour. But after that hour, I just shake it off and say, it's all right now. Don't know. The truth is, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say, what you mean? My mother not dead. What you mean? This is impossible. You're not, no, sir. My mother just not there right now. She's just not there. It's impossible.
Have you thought about therapy? Or do you think you need therapy, or that therapy could help? Or do you think that there's no need for help, you're fine?
I'm not at the place where I think I need it because of how I'm dealing with it.
Okay.
I was just saying to my brother today, because he came and he said he thinks this is the deal. Thinks he's here. And I said to him, still on a bottom.
Has he been grieving?
I think he went through his moment. Okay. And he says he's just trying now to just accept and find meaning to life. He's trying to find that meaning to life now. Because he's moving from the place where nothing never matter right now. No matter none of that.
I know that feeling. Did you have that feeling?
No, I just know that I'm not afraid of death. I was like, anything I can see her. It gives me comfort that I can see her again.
Okay.
Not that
So
I'm
this
going to hurt
acceptance of
myself.
death, with this acceptance of death, sorry, was it before your mom transitioned or it's since she is no longer here physically?
Since.
Okay. And you're saying you never had that feeling that some people go through. I went through that feeling like that said nothing matters and there is no purpose to all of this. Because I had that feeling for weeks. Nothing brought me joy. And I thought I would never feel happiness or light or joy again. It felt like a hole opened up and every emotion had been sucked into it. And so I just felt numb. I felt nothing. And I just sat thinking, this thought kept coming up that said, what is the purpose of all of this? My mother is no longer here. Why am I here? And listen, every time I share this with someone, I qualify. I don't think I was suicidal. I wasn't. It just felt like there was no purpose or reason. Just this whole experience of living. And it felt in that moment, in those moments, like I would never again experience a quote unquote normal day or existence again. And to any of our guests who might be on, and if you've experienced a loss and you feel that way and you're still feeling that way, and any viewer who might be watching that feels that way right now, you don't feel like that right now, but I guarantee you will get to a place, especially if you allow yourself to feel the feeling, where you start enjoying life again. You're able to have some version of normalcy. And Dr. Franklin, who was with us for episode 1, highlighted that, it's a new normal. There's no going back to what was before. It's not true, right? Right, Monique? There's never any going back.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's a new way of living, living without the person. So it's like a start on a different kind of life. The life before had that person in it. Now they're no longer there, and so you just have to adjust and kind of work with it and their memory.
Yeah. So we each have to figure out what our new normal looks like. What does life without our loved one look like at this point? Because it requires adjusting. And it looks different for every single person who has lost a loved one. It looks different for each of us. And there are different things that impact how it looks and feels for each of us and how we choose to deal with it. I'm still figuring out what my new normal looks like.
Mine is my daddy and my siblings. So today, everybody is here today. And so I kind of take on my mother's role, cook and
aren't you the youngest?
Everybody, I am.
I tell you, all of the youngest. Honestly, you don't have to say anything. All of the ones who are the youngest are near to be the youngest. They become so grown. Yeah. Responsibilities. Okay, so wear that hat.
Yeah, the cook and the bacon, that person to keep the family together. That was mommy. No, it's me. And so my kids up early this morning because my brother and his family are come home and my uncle and everybody are come. So, say things are forgotten. Because remember when you called me and said, I'm in the kitchen 1 o'clock. And I've been up since like after 5 all over the place. Wow. Don't sit down. So I was cooking rundown for the first time. And what I do, I try to remember her and everything that she did, even in baking. I don't know how to bake. I just remember what I saw her doing. I can do it without a recipe by just picturing her. Yeah, so the rundown, I know which pot everything. So daddy don't have a clue what to do. And daddy I say, put it in a different pot. And I say, and the pot your mommy use.
Yes.
I use. I might imagine the rundown when she used to cook it or it boiled down at the pot and what it look like. And everything when me say she do, me remember it and me do it and cook and I tell her it tastes just like her rundown, thank God.
So how do you feel when you're in the kitchen and now replicating the things that you used to see her do? And I ask because you just shared with us how broken you had felt when you were shopping for these things to make your bun, and the cashier referenced that you were now taking on your mom's role and that broke you. So what is it like when you know actually, and you can actually say to us that, yes, it's my role now, I've taken it on. How does that feel?
So as I said before, at other times in the year, I'm fine, but Christmas is the hardest time. So when I'm doing things that I know she did, it's fun. It feels like she's here with me. I feel empowered. I feel like she's within me. I feel like I am her. And so I feel absolutely confident and I enjoy what I'm doing. And that was me today. So cooking the rundown and everything we should do, I do it the same way. And it tastes the same way. But we were talking about what your new life looks like, what your new normal looks like. And I say it's just daddy. He's like he's a single parent and my siblings. But he's like, again, he's like, while it's just them, he's like, she's here still. She's not here, but she's here. So we're still making reference to her. So here what happened now. It's cook, everybody sit down and eat. This is the second time since we're having a family gathering here, and this happens. Cook, everybody sit down and eat. I'm coming now with my plate because me last come out of the kitchen to sit down and eat. And bounce my brother's glass, and the glass of drink smash and mess up the father say, you never give your mother none. You never tell your mother say, yeah, cook run down.
I love your daddy. I
love your daddy. So he's saying, if you tell her man she wants some, you think you can do it without her? You think you can do it without her? And I just sat there and smiled. And the truth is, that's my reality too. And that gave me comfort. The drinks breaking, messing up the place, it might be superstition. I don't know. Me no business. But it just
whatever gives you comfort. Whatever gives you comfort. Whatever gives you comfort.
Yeah.
I love that. And you remember, I know that, well, you were on with us for Dr. Franklin and my chat last month. And one of the things that I really loved about what Dr. Franklin said, one of the things I really loved was when he said that our loved ones live on through us, especially when we're talking about parents, So I'll address that. When he says that we share 50% of our DNA with each parent.
That was deep for me because the same thing that's happening now, me in the kitchen and doing what, that's how I feel. As I said, I feel her within me and I didn't even remember that, I'd written it down, but I didn't remember.
Listen.
That connected with me because that's how I feel. I feel like I am her. This is her dress.
Yeah, my mommy clothes them can't fit me. I for just sleeping on a nightie. Her night dress. I sleep in. I have some of them that I sleep in because I'm tiny compared to my mother. She was 5'8". I'm 5'3", and she was full bodied, and I'm me full bodied too, but it's my hip and me, Anyways, so I'm smaller than her, so her clothes can't fit me. Kalissa now, my daughter, is closer to her size physically, so she got to get stuff that she could wear out. But I'm happy with her night clothes. But Monique, I don't know if I told you, did I tell you that when I lay in bed these days, because I don't know if it used to happen before, sometimes I catch myself and I realize I am laying down the way my mother would. So she had this way, she used to always cover up from her head to her toe, no matter how the time hot. So when we lived in Jamaica, and she would come to my house in Kingston to visit, listen, Kingston hot. Like just hot. AC in my daughter's room wouldn't on because you know how JPS and the bills stay. But anyways, so let's say the AC isn't on. The place is like an oven, and mommy is going to her bed, and my
And
wonderful
she
mother,
covered up.
from her head to her toe,
The
when she
mosquito.
get up, she hit my foot. I don't know what was wrong with her. When she got up, the sheet soaking wet, her night clothes soaking wet, the bed and the pillow soaking wet. And I'm like, mommy, I don't understand. Why would you be doing this to yourself? But so there was that. So I'm not doing that thing because I'm not going to be perspiring like that. But she would have a way that she would set her hand sometime and just how she like, and I realized, oh, box cover.
Do we need to?
I feel this is how, can I tell you something? One night, my daughter came into the room. I had already gone to bed. I wasn't sleeping yet. So she came in there and it was pretty late. And she stopped in her tracks as she was approaching me. And she said to me, for a second, I thought you were grandma.
Hmm.
And it didn't bother me. I said to her, I know what you mean because I realize that I lay down like her when I'm going to sleep. The things that I'm doing with myself there are things that's her. And the following morning, Kalisa came back to me and she said, Mommy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you last night. I said, you didn't upset me. She said the words came out of my mouth before I could stop it. She says, I'm sorry. I came out of the room because she had a sleepover. Two of her friends were here. And she said she went back to the friend and told them what happened. I said, I think I just made my mommy cry. She actually hadn't made me cry because what she said is something that I realized. But she walked in and in the darkness, I felt so much to her like mommy that it floored her and she was sad and she thought that she made me. She's so protective of me. Can I tell you, Lord have mercy, my 19-year-old is now so protective of me. I don't know what to make of it. You see, she wanted to hold in her distress and her pain. So she quickly left, not even realizing that I really was okay. Because the only thing that mattered was that she didn't upset me, and went to tell her friend that this thing just happened. So she didn't even say to me, Mommy, oh my goodness, this is hurting me, until the following morning. No, she's checking in with me. But yes, I see so much more of my mother in me, and certain things I knew before, but some things are so new right now. Do you see some of your mom's qualities? So besides her cooking skills and taking on more of the motherly role in the family, are there other things about her that you see yourself doing or exhibiting now?
And I think maybe that's the way I keep her memory alive. I try to, it's weird. I don't know how to say this. I try to help others not to miss her so much by being her.
Tell me what does that look like? What does that mean? Help me a little bit.
So for example, my neighbor, so yesterday my neighbor came in here and I was sitting in the chair and she's like, I come in, I think I miss Ruth. So I look like her as well. And just because Mummy was always here, and I'm here now, they kind of feel like when they see me from afar, it's kind of like Mummy. But I help them mostly and her friends around to not miss her, as I said, by being her, by doing the things that she would do for them.
Does that make you sad or does that help you cope?
I do it with joy. It doesn't help me to cope. I'm happy that I'm making them happy. So my neighbor, she would cook and bring to my neighbor. She would bake and bring to my neighbor. And I make sure say anytime I cook, I bring it, go give them. It's Christmas and she always bake and give everybody in the community. And of course, earlier on, people were saying, oh, I saw this lady like about 3 weeks ago. And she said, oh, I'm not getting a Christmas cake this year. Miss Ruth would tell me she set her raising them already. She has soaked them all long. I'm not get none. I said, no worry yourself, man. You not get cake, but you get bun. Yeah, I get piece of pudding.
Wow.
And I enjoy doing that. Other people around, I would try to bake pudding. So I never used to bake before she died,
Wow.
Never
But
used
you
to
sound
be.
like you were always in the kitchen with her, though.
She always a call me for past things, not because I want. She
Clearly, you
always a
spent
call
enough
me.
time to pick up, to observe enough of what she was doing to be able to replicate it, though. So that's
But
good.
she just always a call me. You know the parents that will call and my mother.
Yes, yes,
Just always
yes.
a call. Come pass the brownie. Come greater the nutmeg. Shoot some
What?
flour. And I mean, I was there. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to talk on computer or play a game. But she was always calling me, and I never had interest in learning any at all. But clearly, I learned.
Boy, Monique, you're better than me. Now. My mother was an interior decorator
Yeah.
for years, decades from, I guess, before I was born or probably after, more than likely after. So she sewed drapery and bedspreads and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, there was a part of me that kept thinking, girl, you don't even know how to do this. I never learned. So anybody in the family has a baby, she would make the baby a nice baby comforter set, with the cartoon characters and things like that. And now that she's not here, I'm thinking that all of that is done because she was the only family. I have other people in the family who sew. I have aunts and my grandmother. My mom not really sew anymore, but she was the matriarch. She, I'm sure, is the reason why they all sew. But everybody else sews clothes. So they are fashion designers. And my mother was the only one who was in interior decor. I was thinking, girl, you're better than me because I have no clue to even begin to think about wanting to do. And it feels like a loss. And so the last set of things that she would have made for myself or any other family member, we're all cherishing it dearly. We're treating it like gold at this point, some rare gem because, yeah. So I'm happy to hear you say that you realize that you can now step into that role and bake and prepare the food the way she would. So I'm happy for you for that. And so this is an opportunity that for you and I to share with our viewers that listen, your parents and your loved ones, because for some people it's not their biological parent. It could be an aunt or an uncle, whoever it is that really raised them. Or mean a lot to you if they are the ones who do certain key things in the family that you all appreciate or it brings you guys together. If you have an interest, and even if you don't, just go look, pay attention. Because when those people are no longer with us, we miss those things. And it's always comforting to the rest of the family when somebody is able to step in and do some of those things. It's something that it makes you feel like you are connected.
Right. Yeah. And that's something else too. Some mama she used to crochet and she used to sew sheets and curtains and all of those things. So we never learn how to
Is
do
your mother my mother?
But yeah, she made a lot of sheet sets and something. I think my friends on here, except one, all of them, well, would have gotten a sheet set from mommy. She make a sheet set for everybody and crochet for everybody. But I don't know that. But you know what? You see, in the period where she was ill, everything that she did well, I asked her how to do.
What? That's so good. I love that. That's good. I'm happy to hear that. Before we move on, before we jump and move on, I want to acknowledge Jay Allen, one of our guests who is on with us. Jay sent a message some time ago. She says she wants to thank her Auntie Maxine for inviting her. She appreciates the openness of our discussion, and she wasn't fully aware or knew what to expect. And the moment she said we mentioned the word mom, she started bawling. Miss Allen, I'm sending you a hug. I sent you a hug in the chat. I'm sending you a hug now. Tight. Tight hug. Sweetie. Yes, we're in that club. Miss Allen?
Yes.
I am sending you a hug, my love. A tight, tight hug. We're in that club together. And I'm not sure how long ago you lost your mom.
That's like 12 years ago, but it just feels like
yeah, make me sad now because so 12 years run home I go ball same way. Lord.
Like, I never thought I would have been crying, like, from the moment you mentioned mom. It's
Yes.
almost, it's like everything just started, crying. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I am hoping that you have good memories and things that you're holding on to that gives you comfort and that you still talk about her. Because you know, one of the things I realized though, Miss Allen, that talking about, like my mom talking about her, keeps her real and present, because I don't want us to forget her. I would never want that. And so I take pleasure in talking about her. And so I hope that you, with your family or your friends, that you're still able to, you know, reminisce on how she was.
I do. Like Monique shared that, she tries to do the stuff her mother does and stuff like that. I try to do it. I try to ensure that the family is still close knit in a certain way. Like, Christmas that time around, we're always trying to I'm always trying to get the family together, but I mean everybody grown, everybody all about them their own family thing, and being the baby of the family is like, oh, you need to go find your family now so you can possibly do your own stuff, so things like that. But I guess one day I'll get everybody to come.
You will. Don't give up. Keep doing what you're doing. Sometimes you see, if you're planning things around busy periods, sometimes you should just try some of the off-peak periods where they wouldn't have other plans with the rest of with the other members in their family. Make it a little easier. And listen, even if everybody can't make it, that's okay. Even if it's one other person that turns up, keep doing that. Just keep doing that.
Well, yeah.
Good. So I'm happy that you're here with us. I'm going to jump back in now and continue the conversation with Monique. Boy, Miss Allen, we're sending you love and hugs. All right.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So Monique, when we look at the stages of grieving, of grief, listen, there are 5 stages that most of us talk about, but I came across, there's another version that says there are 8. I wanted to ask you, and the grieving process isn't a linear one, which means, I know you know, but which means it doesn't unfold in a straight line, where the stages are the 5 stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. It doesn't mean that it goes like that and then you're finished. Right? What we were talking to Miss Allen and hearing that it's 12 years later and she's still feeling grief, because the truth is, we live, I think what happens is that now we live with the grief of losing our loved one. I came across something on Twitter since week or last week where don't remember who was doing an interview. I'm going to take up my phone and look at it, and the gentleman said that he appreciates the grief that he feels because it is what it represents for him is the love, the unexpressed love. He lost his mother, that he has for his mother. So he was saying that, and he was a fairly young person as well. So the grief, he embraces it. He says, during the interview, he said, listen, don't mind if you see me crying. These tears are really just an expression of my love. And I thought that was one of the most beautiful things I have ever heard said about grief, because it means that, listen, my mother was just 60. I had expected to have her for at least another 40 odd years. My grandmother is still alive. My grandmother is 93 and healthy as a horse. So I expected that my mommy and I would be growing older together. She was just 20 years older than me, and she was a young and hot girl, and all of that. And so when I think about it like that, I have a whole heap of love that's just now sitting somewhere that I can't give her, because that love was for her. It can't be given to anybody else. You understand? And so when he described it that way, it felt like, okay, all right, I get it. But so we're talking about the stages of grief. Monique said it's 2 years later and she still feel like she's in denial. It's not linear. So my question now, Monique, when we look at the 5 stages of grief, have you experienced any of them? And how has it worked for you? Have you gone back and forth if you have?
Denial is the first one.
Yes.
I'm still there. I
You're
don't move
still
from
there.
there. I don't get angry. Yeah.
Wow.
What are the others again?
Bargaining. This one is where you're going, usually, if you just give me back my mother, I will do this, that, and the other, and whatever other version. And then depression. And then acceptance. What you say?
I'm still there.
Still in denial.
And
Okay.
I don't think nobody really understand. As I said, while I have moments when I just bawl, because me need her right now and I need to
Yes.
hear her. And in those moments when I'm crying, I can't believe. God, I do. I haven't accepted it as yet. That's the truth.
No, that's all right. There is
And
no, there isn't.
people say I'm strong and they don't know how I do it.
Everybody cannot them tell me to. That's what I keep hearing. I went to the funeral, did plan the funeral when I did cry and people are thinking, yo, you're so strong. Listen, I only know how to be this way. It doesn't mean I'm not dying inside.
Yeah, right. I haven't passed the denial stage yet, and I don't know when it's going to hit me. There are moments when I feel like, okay, I'm getting to that place now, but then it fades. So the truth is, I honestly feel like one day you're going to just drop on me.
But Monique, let me highlight though for anybody else who might be any of our guests or who's on with us now, or anybody who is watching. The truth is, there is no law or rule that says we all have to experience all of these stages. It's okay if you haven't. If you still feel like you're in denial, that's a different thing to talk about, because we want to be able to move through those feelings so we can get on the other side and feel more healthy and at peace, but that's a different conversation. So you don't have to experience anger. You don't have to experience bargaining or depression. What we're hoping to get to do is that place where you accept, where we accept the loss and that this is now what it is. And the truth is, Monique, I hear what you say, but I also do believe that there's a version of acceptance that you've done. The fact that you can step into the role that your mom used to play in certain instances, it must mean, so you're probably not realizing, but you have made progress. If you had not had at least some form of acceptance already, there is no way you could be doing the things that you're doing. When you say to me that I fill the gap and I have stepped into that gap for her friends and people in the community, sweetie, that's you accepting that she's no longer physically here to do these things, and you are caring for her friends and people who she would support in her absence. That is a form of acceptance. If you never accept any at all, my girl, you wouldn't be able to do any of those things. So
you know what? You know why? I think differently.
Oh, tell me.
Because she wasn't here for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So
and were you doing those things when she wasn't here for 2 years?
Not necessarily cooking and baking but out for them, but I was here by myself without her for 2 years. So it's almost like while she wasn't ill in the first 1 year or first few months or something, she was away.
So you think you're telling yourself that she's still away is what you said?
Yeah, she did fine.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That's how I deal with it.
Can you experience joy? Do you experience joy now?
As I said earlier, the joyful moments turn into sadness.
So you experience joy, but it doesn't stay.
Right.
So, okay, so you experience joy, then you feel sad because you're reminded that she's not here. Do you go back to a sense of joy? Do you make peace with this thing that you wanted to share with her? Or are you just left feeling bereft?
I do it with her in mind always. So when I start, I was like, Mummy would love this. And just imagine that she's with me, as I say. So on those moments, like on the first day of doing something, I do this. I wear.
Okay.
That's me saying she's here.
So you wear something for her when you have to do something important, something that you want to feel like she's with you. So you wear her
when
clothes, you wear her perfume.
And
that's a nice idea.
Yeah.
I know there are some people who probably couldn't handle that, but that is nice.
Always. And I have this chain with her fingerprint on it.
Oh, I have one, mine's still in the drawer. Don't take it out of the box yet. So I have one. So it has both our so that was a memento from that I got from when I made funeral arrangements. So I have one that has my fingerprint and her fingerprint, and my daughter has one that has both their fingerprints as well.
Well, this is just hers and her name, and at the back it says, maybe I can't see it says, "Stay with me, Mom."
Oh.
And so it's right.
And you wear that, okay. And when you wear her things or her perfume or that necklace, you feel connected to her. It's comforting.
It's comforting. It is. So if I'm going into an interview, or as I say, I get a job and I know that she'll be absolutely proud, I say, come in here, come with me. Put on clothes, and it gives me strength and it makes me more confident because I feel like she's here.
I love that. I'm happy that you're sharing some of the strategies that you use to cope and to stay grounded and to feel connected with your mom, even though she's no longer here physically. I hope that, some of the things that we're sharing can help others who are watching us, or even any of the guests who are on right now. There is a key thing that I like to explore now with people who have experienced loss similar to mine. Is there any kind of help or support that would have made a difference to you, from others as you dealt with losing your mom? And if there was a particular kind of support that you would have loved to have, who would it have been from? Or were you good?
I was good because of my family and friends. That's the truth. Self-medicate a lot. I almost self-medicate when I mean drink bush tea and them something. I mean mentally. I fight
explain.
it.
So explain so that if somebody is listening, they probably see this is something that they can try.
So I try to deal with things mentally. When I was younger, so my family were close-knitted. So the things that my sisters and brother grew up and saw that they were lacking in life, they give it to me.
Wow. I love your family.
Yeah. So when I was in primary school, my sisters were in high school, and then I realized, something in presentation, we have to go up in front of the class and talk. All right, you go find one club and join, we'll teach you how to do public speaking and never be shy. And so I'm doing public speaking from primary school because of that, because of them knowing that I'm shy. Don't come to high school and be shy. Where I'm going with this, when my sisters got to university and left university, and they realized that something is out there called positive thinking that I never knew, they gave me all the books. And so from high school, I've been reading. Every book I get is an inspirational book, something that teaches me how to be positive. Secret is made it about secrets. I read that from high school. Peaks and Valleys, read that from high school. Alvin Dave, Caterpillars Can Fly, So Can I. All of them. Read. And so from those times, I knew that I control my own happiness and nobody else. And so that's what I mean when I say I self-medicate. I try to fix it on my own. And the same thing, we had this conversation as well, and the same thing that the therapist is going to tell me, I know already. So I feel like it don't make no sense going to a therapist. And
You
I'm
don't
not
have to, you know,
saying,
right. So to
I'm not saying
each
that
of
it's
us
not
requires something
important.
different. But
Right,
for
yeah.
you,
But for me
yes,
personally, right,
yes.
it's taking me a time to decide that I need to go. One day I'm
And
going to
that's
have to go
okay.
and I'm going to go.
That's okay.
But that, along with the love and I'm going to say my tribe, I'm going to call it tribe, is strong.
Yeah.
I can talk to you today. I can talk to Nicole later. I can talk to Maxine tonight. I can talk to Onika tomorrow. I can talk to my sisters in the morning. I have somebody at every moment in my day that I can talk to. And that's my help.
Wow.
And all of you say to me, call me anytime. I can literally take up the phone and call any of you at any time of the day. And all you do is listen to me. And all of you know the connection that I have with my family. And so, maybe not have nothing at all to say to me. Or maybe you do. You gave me that book that you say is, and I tell everybody, this is a lady that gave me the book that says this is a gift. This is a gift from your mom to you.
Yeah.
That's what you said to me. And it was, I think that book helped me. That book made me angry. The book is Dying to Be
Dying to
Me.
Be Me by Ajani. I'm sure I have it here behind me somewhere. Well, I have it electronically.
That book made me angry. Like, so if you can dead and come back, why am I come dead and come back?
Monique,
Oh, what happened?
Listen to me. Listen to me. So let us let everyone in on this so that they understand. So Dying to Be Me is written by Ajani. What's her last name again? Well, anyways, so I'll put it up in the description when we finish. So, and she had cancer. She spent a significant portion of her life being worried about dying from cancer because so many persons, she's Indian, but she was in the US, because so many persons who were around her were dying of cancer. And she became just worried, definitely worried. Anyways, she ended up having cancer. And by the time I think they discovered it, she was stage 4. So nobody expected her to make it. And in this instance now, she's in the hospital. She's on her last. She's on her last. Her brother is flying over from India or whichever other country. I think her father had already died. Her mother was in the hospital, and I think her husband too. And she said she left her body. So what the book is about is a near-death experience, what they call NDE, right? And what she described was being on the other side. She felt first that she was floating above her body. She could see her body, but because what she was experiencing at that point was extreme pain prior to, right? Extreme pain, because her body was, racked with full of sores, and it was just terrible. At this point now, when she's floating, she wasn't in pain. She could see the doctor and anybody else who were in other rooms in the hospital talking about her. She was hearing what was being said. And they proved that because she was able to recount. Right, and she was able to see her brother on the plane flying to see her. So in other words, she described it as a time being not the way we experience time as humans, but everything was everything and everywhere all at once, And she was able to recount conversations that, like, the doctor was having with her mother in another room, which made everybody realize that, listen, it's not some cuckoo story. Because the only way that she could have known who had said what was if what she said really happened. So she said that she went on the other side, and her father, who had already died, was talking to her. He came and he said, "It's not your time." She said all she felt in that space though was just love, and she was like, but I'm not in pain anymore. And she said she wanted to comfort her mother and said, don't cry, I am good. I am not in any pain anymore. That part floored me. She said she just wanted, because she said she couldn't feel anything other than just love. And she saw everybody weeping and who was sad, and she wanted to just say to them, don't cry, I am good, I am at peace, I am happy, I am not feeling any pain. So in other words, just to be able to comfort them, to say, let me go, I'm fine. But anyway, she's now talking to her dad on the other side, and he said it's not your time. And she and her dad didn't have a good relationship when he was alive, but she said the only thing she felt in that space was just this deep love that she had never felt in her life. And she got the choice, though. It's not your time. You can go back. Oh, maybe that's the difference, Monique. Or you can stay.
Mm-hmm.
And she thought about it and realized, okay, maybe there's more that she can do by coming back. And so she opted to come back, came back into her body. Within weeks, the cancer started just disappear. The doctors were in shock. So that's what Monique and I are talking about, that book. And so when she said she became angry because she's thinking, if Mr. Johnny could come back, why didn't her mother choose to come back? And Monique,
and it's a true story.
Yes, it is true. And my question was also the same thing. Like, because I thought about it again, I said, and if this lady couldn't make up her mind, if she had the experience and had the choice, why my mother never chose to come back? If you say she didn't miss me, like didn't miss Kalisa and I, where she really just wanted to say, okay, let me hang around a bit. And so I had to make peace with that. I don't even know if I've fully made peace with it. Have you made peace with that, Monique?
I think I have. I think I kind of moved away from, because I was so angry for a while. So much so that there's a community of people who have had near-death experiences, and they just go on it and they talk about what it's like, and they all say the same thing that she said in the book. But then eventually, I think I moved past that. But that book made me so angry, and I think it really felt like a gift from mommy to me. And it did kind of creepy, Kadene, when he said that, because most of the things that she went through was what mommy went through.
Wow.
And it was like she was telling me the stories, like mommy talking to me, and I'm getting mommy's view of the things she didn't say to me. It's like she's telling me through the book how she felt, what was happening. I was feeling it all over. I went back to the hospital with her. I went back in her illness with her. Everything from that book, I was feeling it.
Did you get to, and let me correct myself because I've been saying her name wrong. I just brought it up in my Kindle library. So the book is Dying to Be Me. Yes, we got that right. And the author is Anita Moorjani. So Anita, Moorjani. And so I want to know though, getting to the part where she described not being in any pain any longer and just feeling nothing but love, did that offer you any kind of comfort?
It did offer me some form of comfort, like mommy is okay. And also what offered me comfort was the fact that she said that she was still with everybody.
Yes.
And they couldn't hear her, but she could still see them. And she could still talk to them, but they weren't hearing her. And so that give me the comfort in knowing that if I hear her voice in my head, it's not my mind.
Okay.
Because she's with me. And you always said that she's still with you.
Oh, I told you about my thing the other day, right?
Yes.
So
funny. It's funny because I wasn't making the connection at all.
I know. It just came back to me. So let me not do this inside thing and not share with our viewers and our guests. So I got a wonderful new opportunity last week, and I was excited about it. And of course, I can't call my mommy to tell her about it. And she can't take up the phone and call her 1 million friends, tell them about her daughter's new thing, because that's what she would have done, And I was driving somewhere and I said, Mommy, I know you're still around, you know. Just you can give me a sign so I know, you know. And I was driving to an appointment. I went there. This was night, and I went there. I didn't know what I expect to see any sign from. I just put it out there. Went to where I was going, and went back home. Went to bed. You know, stop thinking about that because I'm not hung up on anything. You know, but I mean, I was just so excited about this new thing. And the following morning, I woke up. So this is another 5 o'clock, and I am groggy. And as I become conscious, the thought, and I'm calling it a thought that enters my mind, is this Bible verse. Pastor Maxine probably can tell me where it comes from because I don't know which book or which verse, but I spent enough time as a child in church with my family that I know that it comes from the Bible. And so as soon as I became conscious, this thought that was in my head said, I am with you always, even until the end. I mean, I said, I was like, it's weird, this Bible verse come from in my mind. As soon as I wake up, I never wake up with a Bible verse on my mind. I was like, that's odd. And then another thought came in, and the thought says, you asked for something. And I'm like, oh my God. Listen to me, people. You don't even listen. If you don't see it my way, that's perfectly fine. It's not about you. It's about me and how I feel about my experience. Listen, the comfort that I felt, listen to me. That is never a Bible verse that I've ever had to do anything with. I don't know where it come from. And that was my answer. Listen to me. Listen to me. I got peace from it. Mm-hmm. A feeling of peace and comfort, and you know, that thought that my mother lives on in me, you know, and so I'm grateful, and that gave me a reason to smile. I do more deep breathing exercises these days, and meditation. I used to meditate before mom transitioned. I haven't been, sometimes some of my sessions would be over an hour long. I haven't been able to really dive back into that yet. I don't know why. I can't just sit down or lay down and close my eyes. I don't know what's going on in my head. I haven't been able to do that yet. So I know I'm not out of that space. But I can do the shorter ones, and my deep breathing really helps. It calms me down, because seriously, there are moments where there's a feeling that I can only describe as anxiety. Like my chest I feel this kind of pain, right? I feel everything right here, you know? Mm. And when sometimes it just feels overwhelming, and I need to just do this.
Hmm.
And listen to me. When I started the deep breathing exercise practicing last year, it did nothing for me at first. And I kept going, what is everybody going on about? Monique, guests, viewers, suppose I tell you no, it works. It doesn't matter how stressed I feel. Like a couple nights, I've been, as I told you, I was crying and I was, really having a hard time. And when I breathed in to the count of whether it's 4 or 7, and I'll say I'm breathing in peace and love and protection or connectedness, whatever it is that I need, And then when I exhale, and you exhale, and then I breathe out fear, I breathe out anxiety, I breathe out worry, I breathe out feelings of lack. By the time I expel the last of the air from my lungs, there's just this feeling of, it feels like an embrace. I don't know if it feels like that for everybody else, but to me, it feels like an embrace. And I just started smiling. I'm like, but wait. I actually feel good. And I did it a few more times. So I'm saying to anyone, to you who are watching and who are with us as guests, try the deep breathing exercises. And
some people call it 5, 2, 3, or 7.
They're different types. No, they're different types.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's like you may inhale for 7 seconds on 7,
or
and
count
you hold
7.
it for 2, count to 7, and you hold it for 2, and then you exhale on 5. Count to 5.
And some people, you can do 4, 4, 4. So you inhale to
right.
4, you know, I'll count, you breathe in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, exhale, 3, 2, 1, and just let it all out. And listen, even if when you just start doing it, you know, you don't feel any different, just keep doing it. I guarantee you, because it's scientifically backed that our flight or fight response system shuts down oxygen to certain areas in our brain where we do higher thinking, our prefrontal cortex, and it prepares us to run. And so, you know, the other areas of your body aren't getting as much oxygen as is needed and things like that. When you breathe in deeply and you're taking in all that oxygen, it's telling your body, relax, we're good. That's what, so it's kickstarting that system to bring your body back into homeostasis, you know, just relax. And it works. It made me smile. So anytime I'm feeling like that now, I do that. And then there are other things that you can do to help to control feelings of anxiety or stress, where if you like dancing, turn on some music and move, you know, stretch. There are different things that you can do. Just get your body moving if that's the thing for you. Sing. I remember telling Monique the other day to sing.
Yeah.
I remember telling Monique to sing. Listen, sing up. So put on some gospel music, or you don't need the music. You can just belt it out. Put on some love song, whatever it is that you sing and that makes you feel good. Just belt out the tune at the top of your voice. Because listen, happiness and sadness cannot reside in the same space at the same time. It's either or either. So if you're doing something that makes you feel good, what you're feeling in that moment is feeling good. So the more you do things like that, you help to, it's a form of, it's not just distraction, because what you're doing is you're giving your body and your mind something else to focus on, to take you out of that space where your body feels like it is tense and you need to protect yourself and you're closing down, you know? So those are some of the techniques that you can use to help you deal with the physiological responses that we may feel when we're dealing with stress, anxiety, and some of those things come with dealing with grief. So it's useful information, just useful information. Monique, I am happy that the conversation took this turn, because I want us to wrap up the first episode, and then we'll get ready for moving into our gems. And I want us to leave it here on a positive note. So is there anything that you would like to share with our guests and viewers about your journey of dealing with losing your mother and grief? Anything that that you can share that is not on the heavy side?
Just love, no matter what. Everybody has their differences. And we're going quarrel and fuss. That's who we are as humans. Try your best, work it out, and just love, and just live, and be happy. Life is short. I told my sister the other day, life is fleeting. No, make nothing at all that doesn't have substance stop you from loving and spending time. Not even money. Not even work. Because when they're gone, money will still be here. And you will still be here with that regret of not spending time, of not loving. I hate regrets. I think regret kills you more than anything else. And so my word to you is that if you've lost someone, whomever you have left in your life, cherish them and kill them with love. And if you can't live good, pray about it. But understand that we are all humans. And even if you were in another family, you still would have problems. Love them.
Thank you so much. I don't even need to add a thing. Thank you so much, Monique. Before we step out of here, this one, do any of our guests have any question or anything that you want to share? Or are we all just, taking it in? Anybody have any question? Anything to share? All right, we're all quiet. I thank you again to Miss Allen for sharing with us earlier on. I really appreciate what you said. It's good to know that offering support to someone who has lost a loved one doesn't simply stop in the few weeks after. Because the fact that you are deriving comfort from the conversation between Monique and I right now, 12 years after losing your mom, it speaks volumes. So, and I want to take this opportunity to remind our viewers and our guests as well, if you know someone who has experienced a loss and is dealing with grief, please don't say to them, well, it's months now, or it's weeks now, or it's years now. I thought you'd be okay already, or you're supposed to be okay, or how are you now? The truth is, just recently, a friend of mine who I don't talk to very often, so a former coworker, said it. Oh, there are a number of questions. I miss it. All right, send the questions or put up your hand. I didn't see that. Raise the hand so we can have them. But she said to me, she called to say, "How are you?" I said, okay. Some days are better than others, but I'm good. She goes, "Yeah, I'm checking out because at how many months since I'm thinking you should be okay." I cannot tell you how I felt. I said to her, "Could you please not say that? My mother is gone. I'm never gonna have her here. There's never a point where I'm going to be okay with her not being here. I am learning with each day that passes to live without her here. But please don't say," and this is somebody who still has both her parents. So my thing is, please don't say to me, because you don't understand what I am going through. And you can't say it 6 months later, so you must feel better now. That's not how it goes. But you see, I extended grace to her though, because I understood in that moment that she had no idea what it's been like for me. She still has her mother, she still has her father. Any day she doesn't have them, she will fully understand how wrong it was to have said that to me. So yes, there is no time period. There is no point where it's ever okay to say to somebody, well, you've lost your loved one 10 years ago. You must good now. No, we've learned how to function and live, but that ache, that loss, that missing them, we carry it with us. Not true, Monique?
Absolutely. And to comment on what you just say, and you're the professional, so I'm going to allow you to answer Miss Allen. But what she's saying is kind of connecting to what you were saying a while ago. But you know who helped me to understand that the grieving process never ends? Mother,
Okay.
Because she lost her dad before my born. And she was always crying for him. She would have just stand up in the kitchen over the pot and start bawl, or one song come on and she just start bawl. And then in my head, me like, but the man dead long time, where you going so far? That was me as a child. And even as an adult, me like, I'm dead. Yeah, so what me not understand. Still a ball.
There's two things with that, Yeah. So until you walk that road, you don't understand. So
You
looking
won't
at
understand.
you won't. Looking at Miss Allen, the question here, where you said that she's saying that some people would say, she should be okay 12 years later, but yet she feels as if she's at square one. And as I said, Miss Allen, yes, I understand you being at square one. And you know what square one is? Square one is that square that I don't think we ever move on from when we lose somebody who we love with our entire being. Square one we will always be at. And it doesn't mean that we don't know how to or we don't move on with our lives. And it doesn't mean that we don't go through the process. And it doesn't mean that, that there isn't the new sense of normalcy, whatever that is. It simply means that for me, what square one represents is the missing. Missing that person. There is that space that can never be filled because only that person could occupy that space. And so we stay in square one, or wherever we go, we take square one with us. And square one isn't a bad place. It means that this is the love that we travel with for our lost loved one for the rest of our lives. And I'm okay with that. When we have family gatherings now, the truth is, when I think about the absence of my mother, because my mother was that person who, among her siblings, she was irreverent. She was always saying this and saying that and making everybody laugh because she was so dry and irreverent with the things that she would say, you know? And she's missing. She's missing when we gather because she's the only one who had that energy and could take that kind of feel to our gathering. And so it is obvious that she's not there. And so that is the square that I walk with and I will walk with for the rest of my life. And I'm okay with that because there's no replacing her, you know. And there is never a place that you get to where the thought of her comes up, where you don't feel that pang of sadness and missing. And it doesn't mean that there is no joy, you know, because we also talk about mommy and we're laughing when we talk about the things that she would say and do, and we're laughing and having a good time and say, boy, mommy would do this or mommy would do that. You understand? So we are still able to have those moments, but know that it is okay to feel the sadness. And for the rest of our lives, we don't need to apologize for feeling this way. We don't need to apologize for feeling sad and missing our loved one. We walk with that forever and it's okay. The only time there is a challenge is if it is debilitating and you cannot function. Like you cannot function. But that's a different story, you know? And so we're looking back. Miss Allen says that I was so nice to have extended grace to the person who said it's 6 months no such. I must be doing better. Yeah, I just had to go to the truth is, being trained in psychology really helps, you know. It makes it easier for me to understand some things. So I'm nowhere near perfect. There are still things that floor me about people's behaviors, but you know, that formal training helps me. And so I was able to perceive it from her perspective really quickly to say, she just does not understand. And it was easy for me to get there also because until I lost my mother, I didn't fully understand. I didn't. And it was only after losing somebody that close to me that I realized that all these years that I've been offering comfort to people who have lost loved ones, yeah, I was offering comfort, but I really didn't understand what they were dealing with and going through. And, you know, Monique, when you talk about your mommy, for years, decades after your grandfather's death, still grieving him and crying sometime, and you not being able to understand at the time, it made me, a thought came to me, say that I want to share. You know, that we can grieve for situations and people that we haven't interacted with a lot. So in other words, my grandfather died, my mom's dad died when I was probably around 3 going on 4. And I was the baby at the time, the youngest grandchild for him. And well, for him and my grandmother at the time. So I don't remember him. And can I say how odd it is that in my 20s, I started to miss my grandfather. I just miss him. Like, can you imagine missing somebody who you don't have any memories of like that? I missed him because my mom still talked about her dad and she loved him so much. So I guess she missed him the way you describe your mom missing her dad, your grandfather. And it was like, when I heard the description of how my grandfather used to interact with me, I felt sad because he feels like I was robbed of that. Because he feels like he would have been that steady fatherly source, because I didn't meet my father until I was 50. Listen, that's another show, you know, I won't even get into that. So that's another show. But that father figure was missing from my life, you know. So yeah, that's another show, not the loss No, maybe it could be loss and grief, but we won't touch it. We won't touch it right now. This is where we will leave guests, Miss Allen, Miss McTaggart, Nicole, Anika. Somebody else was on and had to leave a little early. Who was it?
Shivoni.
Shivoni. Right. I thank you so much for joining Monique and I this afternoon. It's been my pleasure having you. Monique, thank you so much again for letting us into your personal space and sharing. It's always wonderful talking to you. And I am happy that we were able to do it where we had the conversation that could cause us, some of those emotions, but we did it in such a way where we're still able to smile. I am happy. So that's it for this week on BTS Live. Thank you again to Monique Whitfield and our guests. And I hope you learned things in here that can help you either offer somebody support or as you go through the process of grieving a loved one or a loss yourself. Thank you. See you next week for BTS Gems. So for this episode of BTS Live, focusing on loss and grief, Monique and I have been talking about utilizing deep breathing exercises as one way of helping us to relieve stress and feelings of anxiety. And I have created a mindfulness journal, a guided mindfulness journal that takes you through 100 days of deepening your self-awareness, which is one tool that I have used to help me become more whole and to feel more healthy. This book, I have also included details about the benefits of breathing exercises and 2 examples. I have also shared the benefits of meditation and given you an example as well. Your mindfulness journal is available on Amazon. We have the hardcover and we have the paperback.